Music. Hello, welcome to Fahrenheit Performance Podcast, episode number 69. Today we have Peter Chua.
Hi, thanks Martin for having me here.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
I don't have many bosses in this world, but you are one of them, right? Whenever I'm a TO, you are the head TO of a triathlon, and I report to you.
Right. I think basically we are just helping one another to make sure the event goes well, smoothly, and also safely. That's the main thing.
That's right? So Peter, you are normally the head referee or the TD for most of the local triathlons, SEA Games,
Right.
Asia Games. Why don't you introduce yourself? How did you get involved in this world of triathlon?
All right. Maybe a little background about myself.
Of course.
Right. Okay. I'm actually level 3 technical official and also a facilitator within Asia.
How many levels are there?
There's total 3 levels,
Okay.
committee levels, and then we have 1, 2, 3, and of course, before coming this way, I never think about, okay, I'm going to come this far.
Yeah.
But the moment I come on, there's no looking back.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So, facilitator, we actually achieve in Singapore, we can actually conduct level 1 course in Singapore, which is a good thing for our local community.
Yeah.
And they actually have 2 years to actually do their practical. There's also exams and practicals.
Yep.
That's why we actually have, hopefully we get a good pool of technical officials here.
So, if anyone doesn't know, the technical officials, which are the TOs, are, I guess, the referees of the triathlon, right? They're the guys at the dismount line, making sure that you dismount. They're the guys in the back on the motorbike, making sure there's no drafting. They're so you're the eyes to keep the rules and uphold the law and order, right? In the race, right? How long have you been doing it, and why did you start?
Wow. It's like a long goal. I started 2003, it's like 22 years.
Oh, wow.
I haven't looked back since then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just an opportunity actually comes in. We actually have course coming up. So I told the ex-president, Mr. Hoon,
Yep.
David Hoon, has been a pioneer in triathlon scene also as well. I say, okay, can we actually register for the course? Say, why not?
Yeah.
That's where we started. Okay, there's level 1, we go up to level 2, level 3.
Yep.
Of course, experience comes into, right? Yeah, we just don't go just 1, 2, 3 like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just a step on ahead. We should know what the rules are.
And so 20 plus years you've been doing this, right?
22 years to be exact.
Who's counting?
I haven't looked back since then. I'm still learning right now.
Yeah. So you've gone as far as SEA Games, Asia Games. Have you done the Olympics?
Olympic, yes,
have?
2016 in Rio, Brazil.
You went to Brazil.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, Rio de Janeiro.
So you can travel the world with doing this.
Oh yes, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. So you've really progressed all the way through the Olympics. I'm assuming is the highest level of the sport, right? Is there anything different about the Olympic Games than your regular meta sprint series here?
I think in terms of the skill wise, I think it's a different thing. I mean, for local, we are committed more to local. We are here to actually guide them and teach the athletes. We are not supposed to. There are rules to abide to.
Yeah.
So when they actually proceed out to overseas, they know what they should be wary of.
Yeah.
Rather than they caught off guard. Oh, I should not be doing this. Yep.
Why can't I wear headphones on the running course, right?
Oh, I think headphones are all these are quite a common thing.
Yeah.
We tell them take it off. Yeah, take it off. But the next moment they're off out there, they just put it on back again.
So the last time I saw you was about 2 or 3 weeks ago at the T100.
Yes. Yeah.
I was the start manager on the event side. You were the start manager for the technical.
Chemical side. Yeah.
So what I was doing was I was waving off the athletes, let's say men 30 to 34. The
different ways?
Yes, different ways, right? And I was the guy that was saying, okay, go. So what were you doing as the balance for what I was doing? While I was doing that, what are you looking for?
I'm actually looking for more on rules to make sure they are running. The race beeps is actually facing the front.
Yep.
Yeah, and make sure they are not having any other portable or electronic devices.
Okay.
Yeah, correct.
So for the running, make sure there's no headphones on.
Definitely.
Make sure
Correct, yeah.
they're wearing shirts. Make sure.
Yep, definitely.
And then for the swimming, make sure they're all wearing swimming caps and make sure that no one's false starting.
They are wearing the provided swim caps for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
They had to wear their own, but obviously the provided one must be all over it. Yeah.
So typically on a race day, there for a triathlon there's about 10 TOs, right? Is that what are the different roles that the TOs are in?
That's for the local scene.
Yeah, I guess
Local scene. Okay, I think we have definitely the technical delegate, which is the main person.
which is like the boss.
The boss.
The TO boss, right?
The TO boss, right?
Okay.
And then obviously you have the assistant, the ATD.
Okay,
ATD,
so assistant.
Assistant, yeah. Then of course you have the swim.
So there'll be 2 at the swim?
Swim, there are one.
Okay.
One is the main, the chief and the assistant.
Okay.
And we have the bike also as well.
Yep.
And we have the run.
Yep.
Transition, not forgetting transition. And of course now we implemented penalty box.
Oh, yes, of course.
So we actually implemented this so that the TOs actually, when they go overseas, they know what they are doing. They're already being prepared. Okay, in local scene, they are doing this.
Yep.
So when they are overseas, they are more prepared for that.
So what do you have to do to qualify to be a TO? Actually, I know the answer to this because I'm done it, right? But why don't you tell me anyway?
All right.
Right. So if you're a parent or a brother, you don't necessarily want to be in the race, but you want to be at the race and want to help out or whatever, right? And you want to become a technical official. What do you need to do?
Okay, anybody can be a TO.
Yep.
So regardless of any backgrounds, whether you're in a sporting background or not,
Yep.
we welcome anybody who wants to be a TO. The main thing is basically they will sit through this level 1 course. It's a 2 full day program.
Yep.
From there, they will take their so-called their written exam.
Yep.
25 questions, that's quite easy.
Yep.
And then after they have, within 2 years, they need to serve their own practice.
So what does that mean? What can you do after your level 1?
After level 1, they can be assistant, technical delegate, or the ATD in short.
Yep.
Yeah, correct. I mean, for local C, they can be a TD.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they can do any of the stations of
Any of the stations.
Like swim,
it's good to be rotated around.
Yeah,
So they can understand more things.
Yeah, I remember I was on the back of the motorbike one whole race, at East Coast Park, just chasing down the drafters, right?
Okay, right. I think for chasing the drafters, back to that.
Yeah.
For age groupers, they are not supposed to draft.
Yeah, especially in local.
For local context, yeah. But sometimes because of our land space is a bit small, sometimes it's hard to catch a drafting.
Yeah, you need to work out if it's intentional, unintentional, passing.
Yeah,
a lot of
exactly.
interpretation, right?
Correct, yeah.
And then so you did this course, you're level 1. You must have to do 10 races or 5 races or something, and then you do another level. Is
So
that how it
basically,
works?
when you actually officiate overseas, that's recognized by World Triathlon. That's our main governing body for triathlon, and they actually will request you. They will submit your names for the next level, and so on. Yeah.
Yep. And then is there a structure of hierarchy of you guys? There must be 100 or so TOs out there. Do you have to have 5 years experience before you can be a different level, or?
I think basically depending on the roles what they are actually undertaking, are you doing more assistant roles or chief roles?
Yeah.
I think the main thing is the main primary important positions that you World Triathlon are actually looking at. Are you the head referee?
Yeah.
Are you being the TD for the race before, or are you the chief positions like a swim, bike, run, transition? You know?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what they're actually looking for.
Okay. Just a bit off topic. What we're talking about drafting, right? Which I'm sure is like number one penalty. What are the other big, I guess, violations that you guys catch out on most days, on most races?
The common ones are, when you actually get the bicycle off the transition, they are not clipping the helmets first.
Oh, really?
So, yeah,
Okay.
that's right. So helmets is always the first in and the last.
Is that a actual second penalty, like a 5-second penalty or 10, or is that just say, hey, put your helmet clip on, and then they clip on?
Oh, okay. For local races, they can be allowed to amend, stop and go.
Yeah.
But for World Triathlon races, they can choose to do that. If they don't do that, they have a time penalty.
Yeah, of course.
Correct.
And I guess
Because they are-
points are on the line and
Correct. I
different.
mean, we are here to educate the local scene.
Yeah. So I remember one time when I was in transition, people would put balloons on their bikes, and then they'll try all these funny things to so you can sight your bike. Is that still a problem, or is it? What's the rule for
There's no marking for the bikes.
Yeah. So can you let it put your towel on your handlebar?
Not even towel.
Not even that, right?
Towel, nothing. Yeah, just basically your bikes, probably your gels, your sunglasses, your helmets. That's all.
Because it's like 90% of triathlon bikes are black, right?
Definitely, yeah.
So
how do you recognize them? Right? Just like you're diving in the water to find a piece of jewel. Yeah.
So, and then what other common violations?
Violations. Okay. Equipment out of the box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
but this is for like this talk about Metasprint or Trifactor or any local races where it's not so crucial where to have every single thing in the box, right? Is it what are the common
violations? The common ones probably the moment they're out transition, they're just running bare tops.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
but they're holding a t-shirt in one hand.
So if you have a tri suit, you can zip it down?
You can zip it down.
You just can't take your arms out.
You can't take it out, yeah.
So you kind of
no bare torso for sure.
Okay, but zipping it down and having all of the
that's fine.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. So you guys are like the police during the race, right? So but what about before the race? What are you guys doing before we start? If the race is on Sunday morning, when do you guys arrive?
Right.
What do you have to do? Because we only see you on the 3 hours of the race day, right?
Definitely, we arrive much earlier than anybody else. We are always the first in and last out.
Yeah, right?
Right, yeah.
So what sort of stuff do you have to do?
I think maybe I can just backtrack a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, before the race, we have 2 weeks, probably 2 weeks before the race, we have all the documentation ready. And then we're going to liaise with the...
What sort of documentation are you talking about? Like
documentation like a contingency plan, medical evacuation.
Okay.
You know, the swim course. Is it clockwise, anti-clockwise, transition?
Yep.
How's the flow like?
Yep.
And of course, we have documentation. We need to liaise with the event organizer, which is EO in short.
Yep.
How are we going to do certain things, you know? Now we have the dismount line and mount line. What color I'm going to use?
So if you disagree, you can highlight it.
Yeah. I think basically it just works both ways, just to make sure the event is successful. That's all we want. And of course, prior to that, we have assigned TD, the boss of the technical team. Yep. And then from there, the great part is that we have our online portal.
Oh, okay.
So the online portal works really well. Everybody can register on the portal. You can register.
So you know what you're doing in different
Exactly.
roles.
They can choose what they want to do.
Yep.
Right. Then from there, the TD or the boss, they actually decide, okay, we have enough numbers, or they'll decide who we're going to do. Who's going to be on duty.
And then at T100, first triathlete was on course at 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
I had to be there at 3.
Okay.
Is that common for you guys on your
For
side?
us, at least 2 hours beforehand.
Yeah, right.
Why? First of all, yeah. Very little sleep, but we are used to it.
And if you live in the West, it's always in the East.
Yeah, we should be called the Iron Man of technical officials. Okay, so what we do is that 3 o'clock, 2 hours usually, we arrive there on the spot. We do a radio check. We synchronize time, make sure everybody's on the same time. Yeah. And then everybody will go to their respective positions. The swim, bike run, transition, aid station. We do call it water station, called aid station. And then from there, once everybody's ready, we do a recce around. And then we check everything's in place. We give a radio to the TD, which is the boss. They say, okay.
Ready to go.
Oh, ready. We are ready for the race. Okay. And then the TD probably will sip one more round before the race starts. And then we are good to go.
Because once the race starts, all hell breaks loose and anything.
Yeah. Everything just all fast forward. Yeah, correct.
And what are you looking for during the race? Are you looking? Obviously, you're looking for the rules, right?
Right.
But are you keeping an eye out for injuries, or are you keeping an eye out for anything else, or where are your eyes? What is your attention during the race?
Okay, the main thing is the critical points on the course, just like danger zones, sharp turns. Is it the road? Is it narrow? Mainly about safety. The safety aspects of the athletes, we do not compromise on this part. Obviously, we see athletes is not running a straight line. We know that he needs to be taken care of. So we make sure that we have eyes on him.
So that's
also part of our job.
It's part of your job, not the event organizer.
No, I mean, whoever who sees that, we just really want to, please look out for certain athlete, not in the right mind.
And then, I guess it's just human nature, right? Some people will be sticklers for the rules. Some people will be a bit more relaxed, right? How, just for a local race, because most of the people here it's going to be local races, right? What sort of things are you not going to bend on for the rules? And what sort of things are a bit more open to interpretation, right? Because if someone's getting an advantage for doing something, obviously you're breaking the rules. But if something is not really there, like in 50th place and doesn't really affect anybody, is it such a big deal? Or
I think we are looking at an unfair advantage.
Yeah.
That's where the rules and violations comes in. Of course, you are using some artificial wetsuit that can actually propel you or floats better, you know.
Yeah.
That's unfair, right? Yeah. Or probably add a small backcap motor on your bike. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think you've ever caught. It's never happened before, right?
Right, yeah. But obviously, I make sure, I trust the local athletes, they will not come to the extent of doing that, because it's gonna get them anyway if they go to the worst scenes.
Yeah. And then shoes, right? Super shoes. I think the
5 cm thickness.
50 mil thickness, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys check that as well, or do you have a list of
Yes, we check that for
the elites?
For the elites, yes, correct. Yeah,
Okay,
correct.
So they have to submit their equipment check or something before.
Correct. So prior to registration, we will make sure we take the photo of their racing shoe with their running shoes also as well.
So let's just say someone shows up and for the equipment check with yellow Asics, right? And then on race day, they're wearing orange Asics Super Blast, or you might not even know if it's illegal or not illegal.
Right.
Do you have that list of?
Oh, yes, we have a list.
So they have to wear what's checked in on race day?
They have to wear whatever is being checked in or been submitted during the race day for registration.
Yeah.
But on the race day, if they change their mind, we make sure the shoes is being legally approved. It's not those legal shoes.
But like if they check in on Wednesday and then the double 8 their shoes on Friday and then Sunday, they can still tell you on race day, this is my different shoes, right? It's not super so bad, right?
Correct. I mean, ultimately is that we can be friendly, but we still want to be firm in certain ways.
Yeah, of course. And then once the last finisher has crossed the finish line, you guys are still there, right? So the 2 hours before the first person starts, with the 2 hours before the first person crosses the start line, and then that person may finish, and then the last person crosses the finish line, could be 6 hours, right?
Yeah.
What do you do after? What happens after the last person crosses? So the last person crosses the finish line, everyone is safe and sound.
Right.
It's almost like it's game over, but you still have things to do, right?
We still have things to do, yeah. Correct. We need to make sure to check the results are all in place.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if there's penalties to be served or not, that's one thing. Second part is we have actually a quick debrief among our technical team. What can be improved to be better?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how we actually learn.
Yeah. So T100 is WTO, right?
World Triathlon, WT, yeah.
Yep. I noticed that Ironman is not necessarily WTO, right? And the T1, the TO system doesn't really exist as tight on the Ironmans. Why is there a reason why that is?
Okay. Right now, I think they are still not synchronizing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, correct. I think it's just a matter of time. Okay. We'll just work towards one. Yeah. Because it'll be so much easier for everybody.
Yeah, for many years, the TOs are right there for middle sprint. They're right there for T100. But then the Ironman, they're like the draft marshals maybe. But even so, it's like you don't really know who the referees are and who they're not. Is that just because Ironman is so big they don't have the same? They don't.
I think it's just mainly just understanding how the local context work with, because for big events like T100 they're actually from overseas also as well. It's good to actually get together to understand one another. I think likewise in any other Asian events I've been to, you have broadcasters from the east, from the west. Everybody must just sit down to just synchronize the thinking together. That's how to get events done.
So Peter, tell me this: what is so far we've just talked about rules and regulations. Tell me what's the fun part of the job. What do you enjoy most? You've done it for 23 years, right? You must like it. What brings you back every week?
I think it's just that, you have good people around, good TOs around. We are coming back to catch up with one another because everybody's just busy at work.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing their own things. Probably eventually, it's just like a good catch up.
Yeah.
And then secondly, sometimes like about T100, we have a good elites coming down. That's how we actually get up close to that. Yeah. And then obviously the last part is actually to give back to the committee, to make sure that everybody have a same mindset, to grow the triathlon community scenes in Singapore, and make sure there'll be less infringement for future races.
Because it's not really a job, right? There is a stipend involved, but it's not. This is not where you've got another job elsewhere, right? It's almost like a volunteer sort of.
That's right.
Volunteer sort of job, right? So I guess you just doing it for the camaraderie and just giving back to the community more than anything else, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
So if I wanted to go to the Olympic Games as a TO, what would you suggest that I do? And how long do you think it would take for me to get there?
I think the time frame is a bit.
So why don't you tell me what you did and how long it took? So 2016 you said Rio, right? You started in 2002. So it took you 14 years to get to the Olympics, right? So what did you do in that first 14 years?
I never thought about going to Olympics.
Yeah.
Because I think at the time the structure is still not there yet. Level 1, 2, and 3. And I started with my first overseas assignment in Malaysia.
Okay.
We started small Malaysia, Thailand. Then we have World Triathlon Championship Series. We have the Asian Cup.
So back in the early 2000s, what was the triathlon scene like? Was it how many races? The Ironman hadn't really descended on Southeast Asia yet, right? So what were the races that you were at?
We have World Triathlon races.
Yeah.
Asia Triathlon, which is stationed by World Triathlon, definitely for sure.
Yeah.
That's where you go out to clock your events, and that's how you actually gain more exposure. Right. So my very first major breakthrough was in World Triathlon Championship Series in Yokohama in Japan.
Okay.
I was the chief registration for consecutive 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
After that, I was head referee.
So a little birdie told me that you speak Japanese and French.
I know.
Is that true?
Okay, just for normal communication, yes, I can do that.
Okay.
But for long conversation wise, I don't think I can.
So we couldn't do this podcast in Japanese. Okay, so then
I think it's good to blend with the athletes. Let's say they're from French, it's good to take a greeting in French or in Japan or in any other language they're from.
Yep.
They feel so much welcoming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you got to that Yokohama race. In what year? What year was that?
Oh, that's like 2015.
Okay,
Around that year.
So it took you a good 10 years to work your way up to being at the high level. So you do your first course, then you do a few races.
Yeah.
Then you
got invited.
You got a second course. Now you're level 2, and then you're WTO level 1, and then you sort of work your way up, right?
Yeah.
So if I wanted to go to the Olympics as a TO, and I'm fresh today, it would be 2035, roughly, right?
10 years.
10 years.
Okay, it's mainly about time. You get time, you volunteer yourself more.
Yeah.
That's where you be recognized. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So so then I guess since it's not your job, right? Then
Definitely.
every time you go to Kuching or you go to Cebu or Thailand to do these races, you're taking leave and you're going, and then you are doing the race and coming back and going back to your full-time job, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're also part of the management committee of TAS.
No, I'm actually still part of technical committee.
Yes.
Yeah, correct.
What do you do? What do you do for that?
We have subgroups like documentation, in charge of portals, recruitment, training.
Yeah.
So that's how each of us actually contribute to make sure to enhance the growth of our technical team in Singapore.
Yeah. This is I did an episode with Dr. Seong from the Singapore Cycling Federation, and it sounds very similar, where you have a full-time job, and you're doing this, it almost sounds like it's a full-time job as well, on top of your full-time job.
Well, this is considered our part-time, full-time.
I know, right? And it's almost like you're doing it for the love of the sport more than anything else, right? Because every single race that I've been at as a TO, you've also been at, and which means that you've probably been to 100 more than I am, because I don't go to very many. I don't go to very many.
No, I think right now it's basically just mentor the junior TOs to make sure they have good experience, good knowledge.
And to give them the opportunity to also backfill.
Yeah, we are not going to stop them. We are there to guide them also as well.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how we grow.
Okay. SEA Games is coming to Singapore, 2029. How many TOs are involved? And what do you think? Is this going to be your swan song? It's 5 years, right? It's in 5 years' time. Are you going to be retiring by then? Because a lot of the triathletes I talk to is like, I want to do triathlon until SEA Games 2029, and then we'll see what happens after that.
I think the last SEA Games, all our TOs are actually involved. So for 2029, which is like 4 more years to now, we have a good time to actually prepare a pool of a new batch of TOs to come up to make sure they are actually well prepared for this race. And we always definitely welcome new TOs.
Do we have any idea if it's going to be like T100 style in Marina Bay Barrage, or if it's going to be an East Coast Park?
I'm not sure. The previous time was in an East Coast Park.
Yeah, I know, but the previous time T100 didn't exist, right? So, but I guess it's so far out, we don't know that.
Correct. Correct. That anything is just still quite fluid right now.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's good to have around the Marina Bay area.
Yeah. So, if I wanted to be a TO, who do I talk to, and how do I get involved?
I think if those who are very interested, they can use email, contact@triathlonsingapore.org.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the email to raise your concern, your feedback to. Say that you are keen to be a TO. We can actually keep your names, your database. If there's course upcoming, we hold it every year.
Yeah.
And we will conduct community course, level 1 course, so that we are the people are ready to go up and move up. That's where we'll keep their names, and then we'll just give them a ring.
So where do people see you? Where, if I'm going to be doing a triathlon, so SIT triathlon is this weekend, right? So it will be yesterday when the time this comes out. Where would you most likely to be? Are you just going to be roaming? If you were the head referee or the TD, where would you be found? Just roaming around with headphones on, or the walkie-talkie?
No, walkie-talkies most of the time. Yeah, correct. We have the earpiece.
Yep.
Earpiece is a good thing because when it's on, without that, everybody can hear a conversation, right? Yeah. Okay, definitely. TOs, wherever TO, we must have some form of fitness in us because it's a long day. We are always the first in and last out, right? And obviously, it's good to move around and check with your fellow TOs. Are they doing well? Any concerns or feedback? Yeah.
Okay. Peter, I think I've asked all my questions for TOs, Triathlon Singapore related. How do people get a hold of you? Do you have an Instagram that they can contact, or they should just email TAS?
Or they can just email me.
Yep.
Yeah. Email contact at triathlonsingapore.org.
Okay.
Or probably I can find me on Facebook if you can.
Yeah. Instagram, I think you're Peter Chua WL, right? Do you check Instagram, or you?
I use both.
You do? Okay, Peter.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much
for having me on.
No problem.